Well, from one scandal to another, now GM. The engineer at the center of accusations that GM covered up a deadly defect is now talking to congressional investigators. Ray DeGiorgio previously said he knew nothing about the changes to the faulty ignition switches. Now, reportedly, he's saying he simply forgot. With more on this, Congressman Michael Burgess, who is on the House panel investigating GM. Congressman, welcome back to the show. This suspended engineer, we've talked about him a lot, Ray DeGiorgio, he's described as being distraught in front of this panel, your panel. What did you learn from him that you didn't know before?
Well, first off, let me stress that this is an open and ongoing investigation. And in fact, it's unfortunate that someone decided to go to the press and begin to talk about the data that's accumulated. I don't think we should be identifying people who have, in good conscience, come forward to our committee and our committee staff and offered to be forthcoming and helpful. So it's not helpful that someone somewhere along the line went to the New York Times and put the story out there preemptively. Look, this is a big investigation. We just today got a production from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that we have been waiting for since the formal hearings were held several weeks ago. There is a lot of material to cover. Right now, I don't think it serves anyone's good purpose to be talking about witnesses and their testimony. We do have information to gather. We will be coming when the time is correct.
Congressman,
but right now there's work going on.
This report that you just mentioned that you just received, can you give us any clues about what's in it?
No, I can't, because I just heard about it as I was walking over here to interview with you.
So more information.
This is important because, remember, there were some serious questions that we asked the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that, quite frankly, they kind of were dismissive when they were asked. But now we've gotten more data from them. Both sides need to be forthcoming. I was encouraged when this witness came forward and talked with the committee and talked with the committee staff. I think it's unfortunate then that someone decided, well, I'm going to go to the New York Times and get a big splash in the press. Right now we're still it's an open, aggressive, ongoing investigation. You know there are going to be additional hearings in June. People will know when it's appropriate for them to know.
So the NHTSA information that you've been waiting on, what was the question? Was the question, what did you know and when did you know it?
Well, there was, as you'll recall, there was a very specific incident that I questioned about where there was, in fact, a head-on collision between a Chevrolet Cobalt and a car by another manufacturer. The other manufacturer's airbag deployed, the Cobalt's did not. And I asked the acting administrator, I said, surely this was a red flag to you. You had one car where the airbag performed, the other where it didn't, identical circumstances as far as the force of the crash. And his answer to me was, well, you don't always want the airbag to go off. Well, wait a minute. This was a head-on collision on an open highway. I think that's the one place where you do want the airbag to go off. And if it doesn't, and after all, it was National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that insisted on airbags in cars, I think this would be a question you would want answered. So I was disappointed at the time of the hearing. I'm anxious to see if some of the answers are now available in this document production.
You know, a lot of people are asking the question tonight, has this been a major cover-up either by GM or NHTSA? And how do you respond to those kinds of allegations?
I think at this point, I would say I don't see evidence of that. But again, it's premature and presumptive to make those kinds of calls right now. It's an active and ongoing investigation, and committee and committee staff are working very, very hard to get to the bottom of it, get the answers the American people need.
So what DeGiorgio said is that he forgot critical information and may have said something that was inaccurate, and that's the New York Times story that you're talking about. What I'm wondering at this point is if this engineer, this one single GM engineer is going to become the fall guy for an entire company. What do you say?
Again, it's inappropriate for me to comment on the testimony of a witness who was voluntary and forthcoming. When the report is available, the report will be available. I think you can draw the conclusions from that.
When are we going to hear from you guys about what you found out?
Well, I think you will see another hearing scheduled. I would expect it will be sometime in June, but I don't have the precise timing on that. Obviously, the House is not in Washington next week, so it will be more toward the middle or latter part of June. But I do expect, in fact, there will be other hearings on this. And you also heard from the GM CEO during the last hearing that they're doing their own investigation, and she did promise to be forthcoming with that material when it was available. And I rather suspect that will be, again, when that is available, it will be generally available, not just to committee, not just to committee staff, but it will be available to the public and the press.
Will you call her again?
I would imagine she would want to come back because she was the one who made the assertion that I'm doing an investigation and we're getting to the bottom of this. I think that's a requirement.
Congressman Burgess, thanks for coming on tonight. We appreciate your time. We look forward to all the details when